absolutely astonishing that the Conservatives are planning to vote against this second reading tonight, against the provisions that we're putting forward. There's no point doing yeah but no but yeah but no but.
Be aware that it never even started. The first flight was due to take off on July the 24th, and his government cancelled it before it even started.
The honourable member makes an important point. I can assure him that our approach to both immigration and to asylum is for these to apply right across the UK and to recognise the importance of that and the importance of our border security as part of that UK-wide approach. Because most people across the UK want to see strong border security and a properly controlled and managed asylum and immigration system. So the UK does its bit to help, alongside other countries, to help those fleeing persecution. I will give way in a second. But so that those with no right to be here are swiftly returned, and so the rules are respected and enforced. None of those things have been happening in recent years because when this government took office, basic rules had stopped being enforced, the asylum system had been crashed, and smuggling gangs saw the UK as an easy target. And the last Conservative government completely lost control of our borders. And the party that told people they were taking back control of our borders instead just ripped all the controls up. 6 years ago, barely a handful of boats crossed the Channel. 300 people arrived by small boats in 2018. Within 4 years, that had risen to more than 30,000, a 100-fold increase, not just undermining our border security, but putting huge numbers of lives at risk. And the government failed to act fast with France and other countries to increase enforcement or to prevent the gangs taking hold. And instead, criminals were let off and an entire criminal industry was established along our borders in just a few short years with tragic consequences. Yeah. I'll give way to the honourable member. And that's why, to be honest, I find it absolutely astonishing that the Conservatives are planning to vote against this second reading tonight, against the provisions that we're putting forward. There's no point doing yeah but no but yeah but no but. The impact of his reasoned amendment is to refuse to give a second reading to this bill, putting forward counter-terrorism style powers to go after the criminal people smugglers and traffickers who have undermined border security and put lives at risk. We've seen reasoned amendments down from Reform, from the SNP as well, all of them wanting to oppose this bill, wanting to oppose the powers that we need to go after the criminal gangs. Frankly, they should all explain why they want to let down the people of this country and stand up instead for the people smugglers and the traffickers who are putting lives at risk and undermining our border security. We believe on this side of the House that we should go after those gangs because we believe theirs is a vile and illegal trade. Madam Deputy Speaker, the bill also strengthens intelligence gathering and sharing to tackle organised immigration crime. It will make it easier for customs data to be shared with the Home Office and police, provides for data held by the DVLA on UK registered trailers to be shared with law enforcement in real time, because the House will remember the terrible case where 39 people died in the back of a trailer in Essex. So this measure will help detect attempts to smuggle people or goods into the country illegally via lorry. And it will also provide for biometric checks to be taken more easily in different locations, including from Scottish ports and evacuation routes. And importantly too, the bill also restores order to the asylum system by putting an end to some of the failed gimmicks and unworkable mess that the previous government left us with, including sorting out the chaos created by the unworkable and contradictory provisions in the Illegal Migration Act, most of them so unworkable that Conservative ministers never commenced them and never implemented them. 34 major clauses that were passed through this House but never commenced because ministers knew they wouldn't work. 16 more that were commenced in law but never operationalised because they were simply unworkable. And the chaotic combination of Clause 9 and Clause 2, which meant that anyone who arrived could claim asylum, get asylum support, get put up in an asylum hotel, but the Home Office could never take a decision on their case, so they would have had to stay forever an asylum hotel California where you never leave, the backlog soars, and the taxpayer foots the bill. So yes, we are repealing many of those chaotic and gimmicky and broken laws, including the Safety of Rwanda Act, which then allows us to withdraw from the UK-Rwanda treaty that would otherwise cost us hundreds of millions more pounds for an unworkable scheme. I will give way finally.
Well, it's now been 7 months since this government came to office, so we've had a chance to have a look at their record. And I'm afraid it does not make very happy reading. Since the general election on July the 4th, 24,793 people have illegally, dangerously and unnecessarily crossed the English Channel. That is a 28% increase on the same period 12 months previously. And the Home Secretary stands there telling us how good her government's record is, yet illegal crossings have gone up 28% on her watch. Just in a minute. She promised that she would end the use of asylum hotels. And my honourable friend, the member for Broxbourne, asked her when she would deliver that manifesto commitment. Just a minute. And she didn't answer the question. The truth is, after the election, there were 6,000 more people in asylum hotels. A failure on her watch. And then she crows, just 1 minute, and then she crows about removal numbers, not mentioning, of course, that 3/4 of these removals were voluntary and only a tiny fraction of those removals relate to people who arrived by small boat. And if we look at the number, I will just give way in just 1 second, and if we look at the number who were removed having arrived by small boat, in the first 3 months of this government, that number actually went down. And in fact, the removals of small boat arrivals in that first 3 months, the most recent period for which figures are available, amount to only 4% of small boat arrivals. So how can she stand there telling us that letting 96% of illegal immigrants stay here is some kind of deterrent? It isn't. I'll give way.
Perhaps the Shadow Home Secretary can confirm that the measure from the IMA on citizenship, he can confirm, was never commenced because it was in fact unworkable. And in fact, what this government has done has actually strengthened the powers to make sure that small boat arrivals cannot get citizenship by strengthening the rules, because we've in fact done more on 7 months than his party did in 14 years. And if he really wants to support counter-terrorism style powers, why is he going to vote against a second reading tonight?
Well, the reasoned amendment makes very clear we do support those powers, but we do not support the totality of the bill. And in terms of tough action, she has yet to explain to the House why these illegal crossings have gone up by 28% on her watch. Now, I've got to make some progress. Now, let me just turn to some of the detail in this bill. And let me start with the Border Security Commander. Now, the only problem with the Border Security Commander is that he can't actually command anything. If you look at the provisions in this bill, there are no powers at all. There are merely functions. And if we look in Clause 3 of this bill, we see that these functions include publishing a strategic priority document. And we see, furthermore, in section or Clause 4, there is a duty to prepare an annual report. I don't think preparing a strategic priority document and publishing an annual report is very likely to smash the gangs. This Border Security Commander has no clear powers, merely an ability to publish documents and publish reports. The Honourable Gentleman has been extremely persistent, and I guess persistence deserves its reward.